Chom do b'tzel yodecha. Oy lo davas, oy lo davas, oy lo davas, goroy zoydecha. Nafshi, nafshi. Boca tua alegria, shakuli b'dvorim. That was beautiful. I hope the editors keep some of it in there. It's mamish, nice. Shkoyach. Rabbi said we have a little bit of a problem. We have more guests tonight than regulars. So I don't know. If I go through all the people, it's going to take forever. What's your name? Thank you. That was quick. What's your name? Shimon. Where are you from? And you? Gimel. And you're here already once or twice. You were here a few times, but you're a guest. Shtickle? No? You're a guest. What's this guy's name? What's your name? Yaakov. From where? Ramat Shilo. Who's the guy next to you? Your dad? No? Shalom Aleichem. That's your son. Oh, you're nearly. Oh. Shalom Aleichem. Yaakov Early. What's your name?
Reuben.
You're new here? A guest. Shalom Aleichem. And you all the way in the corner? Huh? Shalom Aleichem. Who else? Ooh. You forced him to come? Rabbi Schoenberg's grandson. Wow. Choshuv. You know, your grandfather was here from Kimat day 1. Day 2, no? It's a big part of the shir. Wow. Very choshuv. Okay. You're? From Rehovot. That's your son? He's Shalom Aleichem. Since what?
Picture, Daf Yomi.
He was in the email.
The Makkos. Yeah. You think I remember Daf Yomi from Makkos? I told him at chavrisa Gemara, and he says it's in Sanhedrin. I said, no, it can't be in Sanhedrin. So he says it's Daf Amud Beis in Sanhedrin. That's it, on the spot. I said, no, it was like years ago. And sure enough, it was Daf Amud Beis in Sanhedrin. Anyways, okay, Daf Yomi, okay. What was the picture? Remind me?
No, he was learning because he started in the end of Sanhedrin.
Yeah, Yivaldik. You look familiar. You do look familiar. Bemis. Okay, Vasnach. Who else? Oh my God. No emails today. What's your name?
Yisroel Cherns.
And then your dad?
I'm his father, yeah.
What's your name?
I'm John, his brother-in-law.
Whose?
Joko. Me.
You.
My brother.
You who slept? No, but he slept you. Okay, kids. Anyway, like I said, the whole place here, a bunch of guests. You're not a guest. You're a guest, but you're not a guest, right? What's your name? Tell everybody your name. That's from where? You were here on Friday. It was not your first time, was it? No. Okay. He was here the whole month. That I don't know who was here. Okay, so these are people that are hiding. Those who are hiding. Well, what's your name?
R Elis.
And you?
Father. Jacksonville, Florida.
Jackson. Oh, Choshev. Choshev. I almost missed you guys. Is anybody here that I didn't call out? And raise your hand. Who? No? Nobody? Oh, what's your name?
Yitzhak Kramer.
From? So how many people is that already? Like 15? Wow. Oh, Mom is in front of my face. What's your name?
Yoni Spiegelman.
Yoni Spiegelman. From?
Neve Shamir.
Neve Shamir. Okay, you win. Jacksonville, right? Yeah. Gewaldig. Rabbi Isai, we had a lot of emails. Shamshi Szlafrok calls it the top 10 moment in MDY. It was very emotional. We had an email. I'll read you the email. It starts off, you're not going to understand why it's emotional. It starts off very simple, and all of a sudden, YouTube is also down? She should tell me to hold on for a second.
Haven't taken enough showers.
YouTube is working. Okay, good.
Here also the sound is moving.
The sound. Go ahead. It doesn't matter. We have a shear coming up. They're going to start walking in. You're new? What's your name? Mayor? From where? No, don't tell me Beitar. That's the guy. You coming from Beitar? No, you're a different guy. You look like him. It's not you. It's you. Okay. Shalom Aleichem. Okay, so I'm going to read this email here. I warned the Olam that there won't be a dry eye. Mendy Birevach told me that he doesn't cry a lot, but this email he cried. Hello, Rebelli. I was very moved when I received the Gemara from you as a new member. My father had been learning the Daf with you ever since the last Siyum Shas, thanks to his friend Hillel Abrams. So at home, we used to hearing about the shir, and we knew all about it. Many times my father would show us new pictures or new videos he shared before the AI era, and new children doing the famous ah sound. Shh, up there, guys. My father learned the Davidi every day, and even during his final days, continued learning with you. Mainly thanks to my older brothers who brought him a television, plays across from the couch. So his father did the daf with us from the beginning of brachas. On his last birthday, before we even knew he was sick, my father and I went together to Beis Medrash in honor of his birthday. So he sat here, his father and this kid. Began learning on daf. This kid is a 12-year-old kid writing. I spoke to his mother afterwards. He wrote it himself. She had nothing to do with this. Began learning the daf, Sanhedrin 92, because I used my father's phone to listen to a podcast while walking my dog. Then I noticed his share popping up on his phone. You hear what's going on here? After his father's nifter, the kid's using his father's phone to listen to a podcast, and because he's part of the shir, so the shir popped up on his phone. So he wanted to see what it is. So he started doing the shir. Then I noticed the shir popping up on my phone, and he subscribed to it. And I thought it was so sweet, so I kept listening. At some point, I discovered that you also give a shir in Hebrew. Since I'm more fluent in Hebrew than in English, I decided to start listening to the Hebrew version instead of the podcast. Around Daf 92, I decided not only to listen, but start learning the Gemara itself. By chance, we found the Masechta Sanhedrin at home. The Masechta Makkos was approaching, my mother and I searching online to buy a copy. Then one of the units I saw, I could get a Gemara for free. So I signed up and continued learning. And finally, on Friday, we had a family event. In the middle of the event, the delivery man called my mother. She went outside, received delivery, came back. She brought a box addressed to me. I saw it was from MDY. I was so excited when I opened it. For everyone who's not in the shir, like you always say, there are no excuses. You can listen while driving, walking the dog, and so on. And once you start by listening, you'll probably be drawn in and begin learning the Gemara itself. Thank you very much, dear Rebelli, for the privilege of learning Daf Yomi with jokes and all kinds of safari adventures. Chaim Betzal Black, age 12, Kfar Etzion. This boy came to the shir on Friday. He was here, and I called him to the front. Here he is opening the Gemara, and here he is. He got the Gemara, and then, oh, you don't see the screen. Sorry. And here he is on Friday. What happened was, when I started talking about his father, he started crying, and it was very emotional. Here it is. Can we have some volume, please? אנחנו כולם מתרגשים כאן בחדר, ואנחנו מאחלים לך שתסיים את כל השעת איתנו. מתי? היום זה היה יוצא? Today's the art side. רגע, הוא בא לכאן? אתה היית איתו כאן? טוב. אני מסכים להביא אוכל. באמת? טוב, תודה רבה שהגעת, טוב. So it happens to be, I don't know if you remember, but Baruch Foreman came to the shir because of his father, Szlafrok. And when his father's nifta, Baruch sponsored a bunch of shiurim, and so we have parents there. We have kids that are doing the shir. I guess this is for everybody. Rabbi Yisai, anybody that's Messiah, Masechtas Makkos, this is for Americans as well. You could get a weekend in a Zimmer, B'tzafon. Rabbi said there are how many places in Eretz Yisrael? 7? 7 different get-togethers in Eretz Yisrael, and we're still waiting for a place like that in America. If we have 7 places in Eretz Yisrael, we could do it in America as well. Here it is in Givat Ze'ev, 20 people gathered, brand new, on Thursday night. Where do we have again? Let's do the Chazara. We have Bitar, Kiryat Sefer, Yerushalayim, Telstone, Rachasim, Elad, Renana we have? Bnei Brak? What's in Bnei Brak? Moshe Cohen? And what about Renana? No Renana? Noch nicht? Stefansky, Yisroel Stefansky? Okay, Rabbi, here he goes. A little volume, boom.
Good morning, Rabbi. It doesn't matter where you are. You can always learn the daf. Oi, that reminded me. I didn't do the daf yet. I better run and do it, and maybe, just maybe, it'll change my life. Bye.
Those who don't know, he says the daf is not going to change his life. Oh, so after this kid was here, I had a break that it was like everybody was emotional. So I right away put this on. The Olam loved this. Had to play it at least 4 times. No, I didn't. I should have. Here we go. Eise Geschmack. Nachamol. It's not something I say. She chapped by herself. It's Geschmack. Okay, Rabbi Yisai will do the sponsors. Masechtas sponsored by anonymous Hatzlacha Bruchnius Yisroel Cherns in honor of my chavrisa Shmueli Unger, Szlafrok Family in memory of their uncle Simmy Schaer, Simcha Yisrael Naftali Tzvi A. Anonymous, may our learning bring us closer to one another and to Hashem. Monthly sponsors: leading the Shema, Zechariah ben Moshe, leading the Shema, Yosef, Hatzlacha B'Parnasa, Yoni Klestzick, Refuah Shelamah, Yehudit Brayna, Revkah, Parnasa Birevach for Nissim ben Shoshana Leah, Jeff's Gourmet, Los Angeles. Moe Miriam Landy for that Hatzlacha of all our children. All our children, because it's 2 marriages together. All our children. Another guy that's going to be on the safari. Koil sponsors month. Thank you to R Eli's wife and kids for the great sacrifices they make, allowing him to spread Torah to the masses. Yitzchak Hershkowitz, L'zech Nishmas, my mother, Tova Gittel Bas Meir Leah Shalom Meir Neshama having Aliyah Amen. Anonymous, also sponsoring Art of the Day, and he says, anonymous, just because. Givaldik. I love that. Maybe somebody could do a one-worder. What could we? Because.
Buah.
Huh?
Buah.
Buha.
Actualize.
What?
Actualize.
Actualize? What's the word?
Actualize.
No, that's 2 words. It's 2 words that you put together. Actual eyes. NDY Kids Monthly, Innovations, Chus Official, Shoshana, Akiva, Rivki, and Mrs. Stefansky, Art of the Month. Refuah, everybody together. Refuah Shelamah for Yehonatan, Eitam Ben Basheva Bracha. Amen. He's here with us in the room tonight. Should have Refuah Shelamah. In honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. Rabbi Yisai, here we go. We're holding on Daf Yomi Amud Beis, and if you remember, we had this very interesting Gemara where Reb Shimon Bar Yochai had this genius idea. Rava said it was literally genius, and he said everybody that has every mother should daven that her kid should be like Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. I don't hold of it. He says I slugged it all up. I have a question on every single step of the way, but still it's genius to what he did. And bottom line is, the Gemara asked, but all these steps that he took over here, each one builds on the other. It's basically like Chad Gadya. You know, you start with the goat, and also this and another. But each one you have to say the second one is a kavachomer from the first. Bikurim is much more chomer than meiser. So whatever meiser has, we have to give bikurim. And whatever Toida has, whatever Bikurim has, you have to give to Toida, because Toida is more common than Bikurim. And whatever Toida has, you have to give to Bechar, etc. So then the Gemara asks, but what about, you can't use a Kavachomer, maybe you shouldn't really use a Kavachomer for punishment. So the Gemara said, okay, but there is a Mandana that says you could use a Kavachomer for punishment, but what about the fact that in order to give a punishment, you also have to have a warning in the Torah? And that you cannot do from a Kavachomer. So the Gemara says, okay, we're going to erase all the loikas over here. Should really do it. It's not a loika. You're right. You don't punish. What you do is you give the guy a isser. There's another Reb Shimon Bar Yochai is learning an isser, not malchus. Says the Gemara, V'amar Rava, 4 lines from the bottom. V'amar Rava, 3 lines. Zar she'achal min ha'oila lefnei zrika chutz lachayma. If you have a Yisrael who eats an oila, first of all, an oila, what's an oila? An oila is kulil Hashem. Nobody eats an oila. A kohen should not eat an oila. No one eats an oila. Here, oila is mamish kodesh v'tar. Oh, you need to see the picture. Kodesh v'tar. Over here we have, I don't know if Yoshi did it on purpose, we have a Litvak trying to kill a chassid. But the oila is a kodesh. He's outside of Yerushalayim, outside of the wall. It's not the Shabbos. Gary, what are you doing? No. Talk. Huh? Yeah. Shkoya. What's broken? The whole system's broken. Okay. It works better in Chicago. That's all I can say. I'm going to bring Mark Ashkenazi in. Oh. Well, who do we have there? We have Avremi?
No, he's in Lakewood.
Oh, Avremi's still in Lakewood?
He's the only guy.
Okay, Rabbi Isai says, Rava, you're over on 5 lavim over here. First of all, it's outside of Yerushalayim. Second of all, if you eat it, it's before Zrika, so you're chayiv. You're also Yisroel, so you're chayiv for that. It's chutz lakloim, which is it's outside of the Azara, another Yisr, and it's an ayla. Nobody should be eating an ayla. Chayiv 5. But the point is that he says, loika, you get malchus. We just finished saying it's not malchus. It's only an Isser. All these things that we said before, the whole list of Reb Shimon, which includes these things. Here, I'll go to, this is the original list. We'll go to this one. This one is no, not this. Is it? Yeah, this one. Remove Bikurim over here because it's not so important for this sugya. Okay, so he says before Shloika. Okay, so he says no. Chamisha Yisurim Havu. Like is not exact. It means you get it. You're over Isser. As the Gemara of Anatnan Elu and Aloikin. It says before in our Mishnah. Look at the top of the Amma. What does it say on the top of our page? Perek Elu Hein Aloikin. These are the people that get Malchus. We're talking about Malchus. We're not joking around there. We're not talking about Yisurim. We're talking about Malchus. And what are the things in the Mishnah? Bikurim, Kachikachim, Aloikin. Says Gemara, you're right. Elo kroya tiru. We have extra pasuk. So from the extra pasuk, if it's a kavachomer, you can't. We said you can't give somebody a punishment based on a kavachomer. But it's not a kavachomer; it's a pasuk. El kroya tiru mirdik siv veveisa sham v'chalav v'nei Hashem lekecha ba'makoy. Here we have. Look at this in the pasuk. It says veveisim shama oila yiseichem oila v'sivcheichem shlamim masir yiseichem masir sheini. Look, it already mentions everything. So the question is, why do you have to re-mention it? This is pasuk vav. Then in pasuk yud zayin, it talks again. Ma'aseh b'chayros, the whole thing. Just finish off 3 words. Why do you need a whole? Look how big this pasuk is. It's giant. Why do you have to continue? Why do you have to re-explain yourself? It's coming to give another lav to everyone. So Rashi sticks in here. We're only talking about the Isra before Zrika, not the other Isrim that we're talking about before Zor, Chutz LaZor, that not. Okay. Gufa. I want to point something out. I have to talk about my weakness here. I fell, Rabbi said I fell. I did not do Shnai Mikra during Ben Azmanim. And then I remembered the Yisoid. When you fall, what do? You make that day. You do. So today I did Shmini. I skipped ahead. And then I went back today. I did Parshas Vayikra and half a Tzav. I fell. What did you say? It happens. I'm not a Magichir in Shnai Mikra, so I didn't have that lachatz, I didn't have that pressure. It's always a problem when I go to Chicago, not only Chicago, when I go on vacation, I forget. I bring the Chumash with me. And then I don't do it. I put it on the table next to me. So I had to use the Yisoid. It's chatoy and maskir. Maybe it will help somebody else. If you fell in Shnai Mikra, don't worry about it. Just continue. Do the parsha. You have until Simchas Torah. But it's not the greatest. I understand. Okay, no. But it's better than not finishing at all. Not doing anything with it. So that's it. I should just drop. Oh, look at me. Wow. It's terrible. Happens. Did anybody here, anybody else fall? Or I'm the only one?
Only one.
I'm the only one that admits it in public. I need one more guy. One guy. Did you really? You fell. Thank you for making me feel good. You didn't. You started. When did you fall? Now Ben Azmanim? Okay, good. So look, you could. But did you do Shmini yet? At least for you, I gave chizuk. Good. I got one per what?
How about this guy?
Who? Eitan G. I can't go on. I can't go. I can't go on the helicopter ride with you anymore. So I fell. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna have. That's why I fell, because I didn't pay him back. That's why.
This week's a double partial.
Uh-oh. I better finish quick. I only have 60. I have 60 psukim left to make up. That's it. Okay. Zog the Gemara. Wow. And if I would have done it, I would have known all the stuff. Like every daf was part of this week's parsha. Tnufa, and I was like, okay, too late. Fine. Says the Gemara. Gufa, Amar Rav Zor Shacham Ra'ila Lifnei Zrika Chutz Lachayma. We just said the guy is over 5 Yisurim. He's a Yisrael. He's eating in Oila before Zrika, outside of Yerushalayim. Reb Shimon Lo Yechamesh. Ask the Gemara. Okay, this is a simple Gemara. It's interesting. We're like in a Kachim Sugya, very, very similar to what we're going to be doing soon next year in Zvachim, Menachos, all these things. Ask the Gemara. We started out with 5, right? These are the 5 Yisurim. Ask the Gemara. This really should be 6, and that's for a few more minutes. The Likunami Mishum Bezor Lo Yoichal Ki Koydeshem. A Yisrael is not allowed to eat kachi kachim. What's kachi kachim? Chatos. Who eats a chatos? The kohen in the Beis Hamikdash. If you're a zar and you eat kachi kachim, you're over on this. Says that's when even a kohen could eat it. So the Yisrael is over. When a kohen could eat a chatos and Yisrael eats the chatos, then the Yisrael is over on this isser. But since we're talking about an oila, and an oila even a kohen can't eat, so this isser ki koyed Hashem does not apply to the Yisrael. Okay? As the Gemara of Elilki Nami Mishum Ubasar Basada Treifa Loiser Chelu. So we have a pasuk that meat that goes outside Kivin Shiatza Basar Chutz Lemichisasoi Nesar. So the famous halacha that we learned, and Tais brings it here, is that there's the halacha of Ben Pekua. It's a geshmaka. I should have asked the shaila as a riddle. I'll ask it as a riddle, but now you know the answer. A ben pekua is an animal that after you shech the mother and you open up, we have a video of it. One day we'll show. It's kind of gross, but they open up the cow and there's a live baby in there. So you don't have to shech the animal. You don't have to check for any mumim or a trephis or anything. There's no problem with this animal. So the question is, here's the riddle. How is it possible you have a ben pekua, you have a little calf, but you're not allowed to eat its leg? You can eat the whole animal, you can't eat its leg.
His leg came out before she was dead.
Oh, Gary, what's wrong with you? You're not supposed to be listening. It's Motzei Shabbos, something's off. Concentrate on your thing. Concentrate. So if the leg can't, what are you doing, Makkos? We're not holding there yet. Okay, it's not a Makkos. This is in Chulin. So, yes, he's right. If the leg popped out of the mother and then goes back in, that's it. That part that came out, can't eat. You need shchita. And when we learned that sugya, I love this idea. This guy from Australia came up with a brilliant idea. He said, okay, if a ben pekua, you don't need a shchita, you don't need shchita, and you don't need a hechsher. Just eat the meat.
Ranches around the world.
Oh, hold on, yeah. So he said, okay, you take a ben pekua zachar, you take a ben pekua nekeva, and their offspring is also ben pekua. And then you just go there. You have thousands and thousands of ben pekua animals. It's the best hechsher in the world. You don't need anything. It's badats. Even if there's a hole right through the heart and the lung, it's kosher. You don't need any. You don't need boitkim, nothing. You don't need sheichtim. No. So, but they came out against it. I don't remember what the reason was. Of course, they found the reason. Mistama, the hechsherim themselves came out with the reason. You don't want to go out of business. It's a big business. Okay. So, this halacha is learned from this pasuk, but also we learn another thing. This oila belongs inside the azara, and it came outside. So now you're over another thing. As Taisus, but we already used it up for the ben pekua. How can you learn two things? So it's the same idea. The idea is the meat that goes outside. Over here, the ben pekua, its foot went outside. Over here, the oila went outside. It's outside. That's, you need to use the pasuk. It's the same idea like we said before. When this meat is mutter anyway, in a typical way, and then it went outside, then you use the pasuk. This is a oila. Oila is never edible. You can't eat any of the oila. It's kul Hashem kalil. So this pasuk doesn't apply to us. Says there's another way, another reason you should get malchus. Talking about noisar, Daf Yomi Amud Beis. Kol shebakodesh pasul, ba'kosav litin loisas al chilasa. If once you take a oila and instead of burning it on the mizbech, you take it outside of the Beis Hamikdash, it becomes pasul. You can't bring it back in. So once it became pasul, there's another isser. There's an isser. Same teretz. This pasuk comes to add an isser if you have something that's mutter before and then it became asr. Okay, but over here this oila was always asr, so we're not going to use this pasuk on top of the other isser. As the Gemara is not giving up here. Okay, we'll just do the sponsor for a second. Put it in the right place. Where is it? Turning of the Daf, Hadar Global, one-stop shop for all your financial needs. Innovations of the sea in honor of our sons. Kalmo 12, Yisroel 9. I met them. 9-year-old doing, this is the second Masechta, Sanhedrin and he knew stuff. I asked him a question, he knew. For learning Sanhedrin and Makkos of the Rebellion, in honor of Hadar Global and Innovations, true role models of how to support the Daf and learning. So the Gemara of looking Nami Kiddush the Rebbe Eliezer. We have another Rebbe Eliezer. The sign Rebbe Eliezer Omer. Kolshu bekalil tiyeh litin loisas al chilasa. Well, you have to burn it completely. And if you eat something that you're supposed to burn, because it says kalil tiyeh, you should take this oil and burn it completely. You get a lav if you eat it. Says the Gemara Enochanam. Okay, you got me. Finally, after all the tries, I don't know how many, 6 tries, there is another lav. You started off with 5 lavim, you showed there's only 5. No, there's 6. Which one? Kalil tiyeh, here it is. But, he says, Virava Mahaikra Ka'amar. I was only saying that there's 5 based on the pasuk that Reb Shimon brought, there's 5 in that pasuk. You want to bring me other lavim? But say there's other lavim somewhere. You're right. Total, how many? 6. I wasn't counting the whole Torah. I was counting just what could we come out of that pasuk. Or Rav Gidol Merav. This is amazing because we're going to flip this completely. We start out with what? A kohen. Not a Yisrael. A kohen. A kohen who eats a chatas. He's allowed to eat part of the chatas. Part of it goes to the mizbech, part of it he eats. V'asham. Same thing. Lifnei zrika, but he eats it before The other kohen had an opportunity to do zrika. Zrika is the end of the avodah. It says, okay, there's a kapara. The main part of the kapara, you bring a chatas for a kapara, right? You need forgiveness. Somebody was mechal Shabbos by mistake. He brings a chatas. When does he have his kapara? Not by the shechita. He has to do shechita, kabbalah, ilacha, zrika. He has to do zrika. He ate the chatas. He was starving. There's mango over there. There's the barbecues right over there in the Azara. He takes a piece of meat, throws it in the barbecue real quick, eats it. Meanwhile, the guy's going like this. He's mixing the blood. He's not doing zrika. There's a line to do zrika, whatever it is. He went, chopped the meat quickly. Loika, he gets malchus. We take him outside, give him 39 malchus. My ta'ima domakro. V'achlu oisam asher kupar bohem. Kupar, there's a kapara. It seems like lacha kapara in, levnei kapara loy. So, but where's the lav? In order to get malchus, you need a loisase. Don't do this. Over here it says do it. What does it say? It says eat. Eat oisam asher kupar bohem. Oh, so for that we have to say lava bom klala say lavu. You're right, it is an asay. But since we're inferring, we're doing a diuk from the asay, it turns into a lois asay. In other words, the Torah says, go ahead and eat this when there's a kapara. So anybody understands. If there's no kapara and you eat it, it's the opposite. You're over. You get a mitzvah to eat it after the kapara, and aveira if you eat it before the kapara. But that's problematic. That's called lava bo meklala say lavu. I learned the whole lav. I learned from a mitzvah. I inferred from the mitzvah, but that's a problem. Why? Mosav Rava, v'chol behema mafreses parsa v'shisas shesas shtei pros. Where do we see this? Today in the parsha, but it's not really our psukim. This is from Dvarim. It's the same thing though. V'shisas shesas shtei pros malas ger behema isoti chelu. It says in the pasuk that you should eat only kosher here. Mafreses parsa, you have to have a split hoop. Okay, Givaldik. Not okay. Okay. Well, here's a Givaldik video. Check this out. You want to see Malagera? Here goes.
Now, when the cow goes out to graze,
doesn't have to be so
she
loud.
eats the grass really as quickly as possible and swallows it almost unchanged. That comes into the rumen, and at that point it's really quite difficult for the microbes to penetrate through the cell wall and start the chemical digestion of plant fiber. So what the cows also evolved is this really elegant mechanism of rumination. In this, she moves the food round in the rumen, and then a bolus of food is regurgitated, passes up to the mouth, and then she takes it in her mouth and chews it rather as old cowboys would chew tobacco, 20 chews on one side, 20 chews on the other. This breaks it up and it comes back down again into the rumen.
Oh, schmack. So when we were learning Chulin, I was very impressed by this one thing. I remember, one of the only things I remember from Chulin was, it's not really in the Gemara, but he explains in the, maybe they do explain it over there. Somebody explains that, how does a calf drink milk? If it goes through the 4 stomachs, it will get destroyed. The 4 stomachs are there to break down heavy grass and things like that, and to regurgitate it. So basically, if you drink something like milk, it would destroy the milk. He says there's a little valve in the cow, and I forgot to tell the Israelis. This is what's chashav. I think this valve only exists by calves, and later on I think it closes off, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a certain a one-way flow that if it's liquids like milk, it surpasses the 4 stomachs. It doesn't go through the 4 stomachs. It goes in one, does a little thing, and then it just leaks out. It goes right there. Only grass and stuff like that stays in the 4 stomachs. Thought it was cool. Anyway, the fly saboira. And here I went to shtickle on a rant. I got to tell you my rant, because the mafreses parsa, which one is which animal has a parsa but is not malagera? The chazer. So we say that today there's only 4 animals. The be'etzem have 1 siman, like the rabbit, the cat. So we're now in Edom. Edom is chazer, and it means that they're klapi chutz. When you talk to the Edom guy, we're not going to say who, you guys understand, you go to chutz lards, everything is a smile, a smile. As soon as you turn around, that guy that smiled to you is protesting in the pro-Palestinian thing. Because why? Because they rather back up the terrorist than be nice to the Jew. But it's chazer. They show you the feet. We're nice. Sure, sir, how can I help you? But it's all fake. It's all chutz. You read Harvard is so anti-Semitic that even if the $2.2 billion they're going to lose, they don't care. No. It's just B'shita, we're going to be anti-Semitic because you're not going to threaten us with money. We're going to continue being anti-Semitic. You're not going to get us. It's not Revi'im. It's Edoim. No. Besser mentioned, but L'maisa, the sin is there. Says the Gemara. So he's trying to poke a hole in this thing of lav haba meklal asei lavu. That the Torah doesn't say it's a lav. You're trying to be medayik because the Torah says this is how you should eat it. You should eat it after there's a kapara mashma that if you eat it before the kapara, it's a lav. Well, if that's the case, then why does the Torah have to tell us all about the non-kosher animals? All you have to say is eat these animals, and I can infer that if you eat something that's not on this list, you get a lav, because it's a lav, abba meklal asei. So then why does the Torah have to chazer over? Oh, and the chazer is tamei, and this one is tamei. That's the question. Why do you need all the different animals that you're not allowed to eat? So, I have to tell you something. This is very important for everybody here in this room. And I have an eighth of you. You shouldn't be so depressed. It says like this in this week's parasha, the last pasuk in the parasha. Lahavdil ben atomeu ben ator ben achaya necheles ben achaya shelo yisyochel. Says Rashi, lahavdil loy bilvad shoyna. You can't just learn it in Gemara. El sheyideo makur baki behem. Says this is a chachamim. El tzorch gamkin latriach atzmoi laakiron ezu tome bezu tar. Rabbi said there's a chiyuv to go on a safari. It says mefurish. It says Ramagan. You want to be yaitza? Yeah, okay. You want to eat tuna on Shabbos instead of fish? Givaldi. Yeah. But there's a eitzah, Rabbi say. Anybody from MDY could give me $100 and I'll be a shliach and I'll go for them to Zavari. Those who are with us since brachas, $50. But stop a guy. You, $1,000 because you want to go so badly. It's $1,000. I can't be my. Okay. Anyway. It's not a joke. Guys are going to say, oh, so you should know that the Rambam says it's a mitzvah asay, d'oraisa, to know the difference between the kosher animals and this. So I told this to my chavrisa, oh, that's what it was. I told my chavrisa this morning. He says, you can be yoitza. I said, oh, be yoitza. But what about Rav who went and studied it? I said, how many months did he study? He says, 18 months. I said, that's right, 18 months. I had no idea. I knew it was like 2 years or so. 18 months. I said, we learned it. He says, no, it's Sanhedrin Daf Amud Beis. Ayin Sham, Sanhedrin Daf Amud Beis. Rav studied for 18 months. He says, what do you think he was there all day? I said, but it says 18 months. I don't know, maybe he went home in the middle, maybe he went to yeshiva. So, Vadi, have a chiyuv to go to the safari. There's no shayla b'chal in my mind. 18 years you should be in the safari. That's just to know a few things, but to know the whole difference between a lion, you have to know the difference between a lion and a buffalo. Is buffalo kosher or not? Anybody? Yes? How do you know? You have to go to safari to know this. Gazelles, these are you have to go. There's no shayla. Why are the Israelis coming so early? What's going on here? Okay. We'll talk about safari at a different time. Eli Yitmar, Omer Rav Gidol Omer Rav. Zor Shocha. Rabbi said this is unbelievable. Again, what happened there? He says a kohen that eats a chatas before zrika gets malchus. No, this is not what happened. Omer Rav Gidol Omer Rav. Zor Shocha mechatas v'ashol zrika patur. This reminds me of the Mordechai Maisa. A guy said, you heard? Shmerel won $1 million. So the guy says, no, you don't know what you're talking about. First of all, it wasn't $1 million, it was $2 million. Second of all, it wasn't Shmerel, it was Getzel. Third of all, he didn't win, he lost $2 million. Okay, this is the Gemara right here. We're starting always saying it's a kohen who eats a chatas, he gets malchus. No, you didn't chab. No, it's not a kohen, it's a zar. Shoachal michatas v'ashem lefnei potter. Not only he doesn't get malchus, he's potter. Mamish. Okay, Givaldik. I see you have enough from it. Good. My time at Amakra Voch lo isam shekupar b'hem. Kollega the Korean may Voch lo isam shekupar b'hem. When there's a kapara, Korean may bezar lo yecha kodesh. That's by chatos. V'cholega the Korean may Voch lo isam. But before before after zrika there's a kapara. Great. But now we're talking about before zrika. V'cholega the Korean may Voch lo isam shekupar. And there's no zrika. So the Zar doesn't get Malchus in this case. End the story. That's what he said. So here's Hanocha, Rabbi Isai. Here's the Bikurim. You go, put it there. Let me ask you something. Is Yisrael allowed to be over there by the Mizbeach? Huh? What do you mean, why not? You ever saw Yisrael walk around next to the Mizbeach? That's only Koyanim. Oh, Hill, you were here when I read the email? No, the email about the kid that said block.
I referred him to Ben.
Okay, but were you here in the shir when I read the email this evening?
Yes.
So why are you shaking your head no? You are, okay. I said your name. I didn't chap. You're here. Okay. Fine. So, the answer is Yisrael's not allowed to be here, but for the Bikurim he's allowed. We give him a heter. He goes all the way to where? Rabbi said, what corner? Very good. Okay, so at least we know. So says Rabbi Lazar Mishaya, we already had this sugi before. When you get smack in the middle of the Amud, when the kohen puts it down by the mizbeach over there together with Yisrael, then you can start eating. Before you do that, you can't eat from it. If you eat, it's malchus. Kriya, to repeat the psukim, ein ma'keves. When? What psukim do we read? Huh? Arami Oividavi. The psukim that we say in Pesach. So I got to tell you this Mari the Gemaisa from the Arizal. I'm changing it a little bit from what I said on Friday. The Alshich was the Arizal's Talmud, and he gave a speech about Lavan. He gave a whole drasha how Lavan tricked Yaakov Avinu and all the ways he tricked him. And in the middle of the speech, the Arizal started smiling. So the Alshich asked him afterwards, and then there's another time that he walked out. It depends on the story. So the Alshich asked him, why did you smile? So he said, because every time you said, I can't hear you, drasha, every pshat that you said that Lavan did this and Lavan did that, Lavan was in the base medrash, they schlepped him out, and he nodded his head. It's true. But then, maybe it's a different time. I saw him first in a book today. So I'm changing the story because that's how the book, I don't know how he knows, but it says that one time maybe, a different time, the Alshich was saying a Dvar Torah, and he felt good about his pshat. It gave him a shtickle, like boosting his ego, and the Arizal walked out on him. The Arizal said afterwards that the Malachim, you chased away whoever was here, and I had to leave with them because it was too much gaiva. Okay. The way I said it on Friday, it was much better. But that's not what it said in the book. Friday, I heard a different time this way, that in the middle of the speech, the Arizal started laughing because when the Alshich said one of the tricks, Sullivan whacked himself in the head. He went, "Oi, how come I didn't think about that?" And that the Arizal had enough from. Okay, fine. Because Rebbe Zeira. The Omar Rebbe Zeira Kolaroy. Oh, sorry, did I jump? Oh, sorry. Rabbi Isai, here goes. Very, very simple. There are 3 periods of time when it comes to the Bikurim. From Shavuos until Sukkot, you bring the Bikurim and you say the Psukim. From Sukkot until Chanukah, you bring the Bikurim, but you do not read the Psukim, because over here, that's where there's a lot of Simcha, the whole thing, so it works with the Psukim. Over here, you bring, but you don't say the Psukim. Once Chanukah comes, you don't bring anything. So, If he set aside bikurim before Sukkot, and then all of a sudden Sukkot, Yirakvu. You can't do anything. You can't bring them. You forgot. Let's say you forgot you're making the whole pilgrimage to Yerushalayim, and you said, okay, you're going to bring the fruit, and you forgot them by the door. You leave them at home. You let them rot. My love, you see that reading the psukim is super important, and that's why, since you can't read the psukim, why can't you read the psukim? Because it's already in the purple area. It's already after Sukkot. After Sukkot, you can't read the psukim. So since you can't read the psukim, then you can't bring it. What about bringing between Sukkot and Chanukah? You also can't read the psukim. But you mafresh it then. You mafresh it in a certain period that you don't read the psukim, then you can bring it. But you were mafresh it between Shavuos and Sukkot, and you have to say the psukim then. That's why you have to let it rot. So you see that you have to read the psukim. But if you're saying that reading the psukim is not a big deal, what's the big deal? Don't read the psukim. You just said it's not makiv. Says the Gemara, the very, very famous Maisa, the terrace of the Gemara. Says Reb Zera that any time, you're right, you don't have to read the psukim if you could read the psukim. If you have the ability to read the psukim, then you don't have to read it. But if you don't have the ability to read it, then it's ma'akiv. So just real quickly, it goes like this. If you're making a mincha, so you're allowed to put up to 60 Isroinim in one kli, because then you can mix it well. If, let's say, you have 100, where like in this guy, you have 100, so you have to break it up. Why? Because you can't mix it well. Everything's going to fall all over the place. The question is, but you don't have to mix it. The halacha is you don't have to mix it. You can just pour all the ingredients in. The answer is, you're right, you don't have to mix it, but you have to be able to mix it. And that's roy lebila. You have to be able to, and if you're able to, then it's not makav. But if you're not able to, so in the whole Torah we use that idea. So we have a little bit of a video here. Hold on, here. The Israelis, I'm sure they want to watch this.
License and registration, please. It's here. So this will take a minute, or 2, or 45. You know what? Never mind. Look, if you didn't have a license, I demand to see it. But since you do have one, I don't really need to actually see it. Exactly. Just like Rebelli told us today in Shir. Kol haroy lebila, ein bila ma'akeves boy. Visha ein roy lebila, bila ma'akeves boy. Szkoda. Oh yeah.
You like that? I do have to say, I said, for anybody new to Makkos, I have to say this myself. I was in the car with my good friend David Schwab. We were Bachrim. We're on Coney Island Avenue by that, I remember exactly where, there's a Sephardi yeshiva that there's no, Coney Island, there's a light there, but there's no thorough street, there's no through street, like between L and, I don't know, like after L, M over there. O, Avenue O, let's say, okay? So he was standing at a red light, and there's a cop right, facing us, also waiting at the light. For some reason, he didn't realize there's a cop there, and he decided he's going to go through the red light. So he goes through the second he goes through the lights, and the guy spins around, and he says, do you know I pulled you over? Yeah, he went through. Why'd you go through a red light? He says, what do you mean? I'm going to Mincha. So the cop goes, he had no idea what he was saying, no clue. He goes, okay. And he walked away. He says, okay. So next time be careful. He didn't want to seem stupid, I guess. Like, he didn't want to, he didn't know what Mincha is. Like, he said it with such passion. I'm going to Mincha. What do you mean? Okay. It's Kolorei Labila. What do you mean? Kolorei Labila. Yeah. Kolorei Labila. You don't need a license. Fine. Oh, yeah. All right. Zok the Gemara. Well, we have to make a little move over here. We only have to get to the bottom, and it'll take 1 minute. Okay. It's very easy. So Refuah says this whole thing that we just said, that the Kriya is not Ma'akiv, he says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. And if so, we have a contradiction of Rabbi Yochanan. V'kasher ladies of Rabbi Yochanan, u'miyav Rabbi Yochanan bikurim hanocha ma'keves bem, kriyei ma'keves bem. Did Rabbi Yochanan really say that the main thing of bikurim is putting it down by the mizbech and not reading the psukim? But boy, minei Rabasi Rabbi Yochanan. Rabasi answered Rabbi Yochanan, bikurim ha'mazim v'torah l'kiyanim. When is a kind of allowed to eat it? Here, kriya is makiv. When they walk into, if it's after Sukkot and there's no reading, so when you come into Beis Hamikdash. So anyways, you see contradiction in Rabbi Yochanan himself. Kasha kriya kriya, kasha hanocha hanocha. Says Gemara kriya kriya like kasha, typical answer. Horeb Shimon or Rabbanon. Reb Shimon is the one that says makiv. The other one is Rabbanon. Hanocha hanocha nami like kasha. Horeb Yehuda, we're going to see in a second. Rabbi Yehuda says hanocha is not a makiv. Rabbanon. Rabbanon says makiv. My Rabbi Yehuda, where do you see the Rabbi Yehuda says makiv? The sign Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Oh, so if you remember from yesterday, why is hanocha makiv? Because it says in the pasuk the word hanocha twice, and any time in kachim the Torah says something twice, it means that this is very important. You have to do it. Says Rabbi Yehuda, no. One of these hanachas is not a hanocha of putting the fruit down by the mizbeach. The hanocha over here is to wave it like you wave a lulav, like you shake a lulav. You have to go like this. And therefore, you don't have two words that say the same thing. One says you should put it down, one says you should wave it. And memela, it's not a ma'akiv. Oh. So vinachto is utnuva. Atoim is utnuva enela anocha mamish, maybe means to put it down. Shuoim vinicha ere anocha amor. No, it already says in the pasuk. Your whole question, vinicha. Pasuk down talks about putting it down. Hamani mikayim vinachto. So why does it say it again in pasuk yud? For something else completely. Zutnuva. You should literally shake it like a lulav. Up, down, right, left, backwards, forwards. Uman tana the Rabbi Yehuda, and who argues? Rabbi Leah Yaakov. It's Rabbi Leah. The saying v'lokach hakoyin atenim yedecha limedal bikurim shetuunim tnufa. You see, v'lokach hakoyin is talking about shaking it, moving it around. The Rabbi Leah Yaakov. My time is the Rabbi Leah Yaakov. Why does he say so? Asiyad yad mishlamim. You learned this halacha from Shlamim. Ksiv hacha v'lokach hakoyin atenim yedecha by bikurim. It says v'lokach hakoyin atenim yedecha. Uksiv yodav tivienu asisha Hashem by Shlamim. Makam by bikurim koyin aflahalon koyin. So we learn shlamim from bikurim that you need a koyin by shlam. Malalon bailim. Afkan bailim, but just by shlamim, there's bailim over here also bailim. Okay, so what do we do? Lemaisa, it says the koyin should do it. It says the Yisroel should do it. So how do you do it? Okay, so meniach koyin yodav tachas yidei bailim umeinef. So the koyin, let's say, puts his hands underneath the kli. They don't touch hands. The Yisrael will hold it by the rim. The kohen will put it there, and that's how they do. They go back, forth, up, down. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful evening. A good Voch. Thank you for coming. Come again.